So for those of you who don't know me, my name's Mark Davis, and I've been in the restoration industry for 30 years. Being 58, that means that I didn't come from the industry. I didn't have a family business, as some of you may have, or grow up in it. And when I first got into it, it was, okay, wow, it was obviously very eye-opening. But what was part of what my business partner at the time and I saw, we saw a lot of pirates and cowboys. And what I mean by that is renegades, people that were storm chasing or other things, but not as much professionalism, not near as much as the industry has now. The industry has grown so much, has elevated, and has become much more professional. I've witnessed it over the last 3 decades. The RIA has a lot to do with that because we are the trade association for the industry. We are the voice of restorers, and yet we are so fragmented as an industry that even with 1,900 members, we still have so much more growth to go to represent the industry. But for all of you owners out there, whatever company you're representing, when you have an issue with pricing, it's, we're all just, individual companies, even if we're big ones. Do you have a voice at Verisk, or do you have a voice at Cotality, or with carriers? You may, at a local level or even a regional level, but with the aggregated strength of the RIA and as your voice of the industry, there's a lot we can do. And so when the Carrier Relations Task Force was formed at the board level, Mark and I were talking, saying, we hear from the town hall, restorers want us to advocate for them on faster pay cycle times and reduce, all this, the accounts receivable, look how long the aging is and these other things. And Mark and I said, okay, yes, that is something that we definitely need to address. But what's the real issue? What is part of that? And that is lack of trust between the industry and restoration contractors. How could we bridge that gap of trust between restorers and those that are paying our bills? And so that's when Mark came up with the idea, saying, wait a minute, our code of ethics hasn't been even renewed or even a part of the DNA since 2006. That's the last time the RIA Code of Ethics was revised. Let's start there. So Mark's idea was, let's open it back up, let's update the Code of Ethics, but not to put back on the shelf. And that's what we're here to talk about now, this going future, this Educate RIA membership. You can see that the middle box there. Our vision for this RIA, this renewed RIA Code of Ethics, is to ingrain it into the DNA of the RIA. And so I'm going to click the button here, and there is a QR code here. If you guys could please take your phones and download this QR code, because what this is, it's the first document that we produced as part of our Code of Ethics renewal. And this Code of Ethics is not just a renewal, it is a movement, and it is going to become part of our DNA. We welcome you to read this document while you're here at the convention, and then it's a pledge commitment. If you agree with what it says, we welcome you to sign this pledge. Okay, what we've done is we've said, ask the question, what does it mean to be an ethical restorer? What does that mean? We've defined what we think it means, so this is the first step. Then the next step, as you can see from this previous slide, will be, well, how are we going to ensure compliance? And then how are we going to train all those RIA member companies and then the employees within those companies? So this is the beginning of an evolution of this movement to ingrain the Code of Ethics so deep into the RIA and within each of the member companies that part of our vision for this is we believe that there will be a day in the not so distant future that we'll be working with the TPAs, and this will get such traction that the TPAs may require, okay, that you be a certified ethical restorer through the RIA to even, be on their programs. That's, again, our vision. We've already talked at a very high level with a couple of TPAs about this. Think about that for a minute. And think about it also when you think about just in your local market. We're always trying to differentiate ourselves, right? Okay, but when you've committed your company to understand what it means to be an ethical restorer, to make it part of your culture, you have already elevated your company, not only internally, but then in the eyes of the marketplace. And our vision is for you to be able to use that to your advantage in your local markets to say, yes, my company, we are a certified ethical restorer. And it's not just because we signed a pledge agreement, it's because we're going through the training and we actually are engaged in this training. So this training is under development. We will launch the first segments of it this summer, so stay tuned. But we really believe that this is something that is not only good for all of us as individual restorers, it will help elevate our reputation within the ecosystem that we live in, which we also then believe will then have a direct impact eventually on those issues that we talked about, which were the pay cycle times and other things that leads to that distrust that can cause us those issues. So we're very passionate about it. And just because Mark has completed his time on the board and he's now back running fleet response, congratulations, that's amazing. He's not going anywhere. We're not letting him leave. This is his baby, and he will be a big part of making sure that we're helping lead all of you to help elevate all of your companies. And we believe that truly identifying and defining what it means to be an ethical restorer, and then drilling down in your company to make sure that, think about this. We know, you guys know that, we all know this, the reality. You're on, regardless of the size job you're on, the $25 an hour water technician is on the front line. On the front line in those homes and businesses every day with your brand name on their shirt and on the truck in the driveway. So the importance of this, of understanding what it means to be an ethical restorer, has to be all the way at the grassroots level within a company in order for it to be effective. It will not work if it's just in the C-suite or in the owner's office. So again, we're very, very excited about this, and I want to thank all of you. If anybody has any questions about this, please grab a board member. Any of us, we're happy to talk about it, and thank you very much.